which is reducing the interest rate, which is otherwise known as refinancing. So if you find a bank that has a lower rate than your current home loan is, just transfer your loan to them, okay? There will be fees and charges to do that, but the amount you might save by reducing the interest rate for 30 years, it might be worth it. So in the real world, there's a possibility of switching loans to a lower rate and paying off the remaining debt. This is known as refinancing. Your calculations might assume that you can simply change to a lower rate, but please, for your DI, not in any of your calculations for the exam and stuff, in your DI, use this link that's on the DI materials package, where you can see how the banks might charge you to switch to a different bank if you're partway through a loan. Okay? If you're going to save more money by refinancing than it costs to move, then it's worth it. But if they're going to charge you more than you're actually going to save, not worth refinancing. So remember that when loan conditions change and you have separate TVM solvers, you need to find interest paid separately and add them together. So mathematically, what does refinancing involve? I% decreases partway through, PMT stays the same, and because PMT is more than you need for this lower rate, you're finding N because your loan is going to be paid off quicker. So let's consider the default home loan. 2025, if the loan was refinanced down to 1%, so to 4% after 5 years of paying off the loan, normally how much interest would be saved? I need to work out what happens at the end of the first 5 years. So what does this TVM sold tell me? It tells me I borrowed $500,000. What was the interest rate? 5%. My payments were $2,684.11. How would I work out how much I owe the bank at the end of 5 years? What would I make N? What would N be for 5 years? 5 years of 12 payments a year. 60. So you make that 60, and then you solve for FV. So apps, finance, TVM, 60, 500 grand. PMT is negative 2684.11. 12 and 12. Solve. So that is telling me at the end of 5 years on my default loan, I still owe the bank $459,143.53 to 2 decimal points. I'll leave the interest calculation till the end. What is the remainder of the loan? So after 5 years has happened, this TVM solver is telling me I owe $459,143. So if I want to work out the remainder of a loan, my PV is now going to change to that. 459,143.53. What do I want to owe the bank at the end? What do I want to owe the bank at the end of a loan? Nothing. So FV is going to be 0. But now the interest rate is going to change because I'm refinancing. I'm bringing it down to 4%. So these payments here, the $2,684.11, that was the payment for a 5% loan. My loan is now 4%. So is that 2,684 too much or too little? Am I paying more than I need to? I'm paying more than I need to because my rate's now 4%. So if I solve for N, that's going to be less than 25 years because I'm going to pay it off quicker because I'm paying too much for a lower interest rate. So that's telling me N is 253.75 to 2 decimal points. What was my remaining debt? 459,143.53. So now we can work out the interest for each part. While I'm working out the interest for each part, you can get down these 2 TVM solvers. So the interest in the first 5 years, 60 payments of 2,684.11 minus, take away 459,143.53. So how much interest did I pay in the first 5 years? 60, 11 minus 459,143.53. All right, first 5 years, I paid $120,190.13 in interest. In the remaining time, 253.75 payments of 2,684.11 minus 459,143.53. Take nothing. Interest paid at the end, 253.75 times 2684.11. Take away 459,143.53. Okay, paid that much interest in the end. 221,949. What would I do to work out the total interest I paid on this loan that's been broken up into two pieces? Yep. Add them together. So in the first 5 years, I paid $120,190.13. And in the remaining time, after the rate went down, I paid $221,949.38. So in total, 120,190.13 plus 221,949.38. So with this reduced refinance loan, I'm paying $342,139.51. Is that lower than the default loan? You folded it down on your little books. Maybe check that out. Does anyone see what the default loan's interest was that we paid? It was good. So interest saved compared to default. What was it? 466? 1,279.60. Take away, bro. That's over 100 grand, because I found a bank that was 1% lower 5 years into the loan. If I leave it later, I'm not going to save as much. If I can reduce it by even more, I'm going to save bank. I'm going to make bank, or not make bank. I'm going to save heaps. So 342,139.51. So we would save by doing that $124,140.09. So I'll stop the video there and we'll talk about real life.